Bleeding purple and gold from the heart of Los Angeles. This is the LakersNation.com podcast with your host, Trevor Lane.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another show. As always, we're powered by CLNS Media and LakersNation.com, your home for everything Lakers. Today's show is brought to you by Robinhood, the investing app that lets you invest in all kinds of different stocks, ETFs, options, cryptos, all commission free. And Bet Online, if you're looking to get in on the action on the NBA playoffs, make sure you check out Bet Online. I'll talk more about those in just a bit, as well as Lakers Nation's official sponsor, Vivid Seats. They are the official ticket reseller of LakersNation.com. All you have to do is open up the Vivid Seats app on your phone, punch in the promo code LakersNation in all caps, and get 10% off your next ticket purchase. Again, that promo code is LakersNation in all caps, and use that Vivid Seats app, get 10% off. So as of right now, the NBA playoffs are going on, monster games are being had, and upsets are occurring, and the Lakers are not currently part of it. Not to bum everyone out, but that's reality. That's where things are at right now. The Los Angeles Lakers are not part of the playoffs, but they are still finding ways to just about dominate the headlines because they are searching for, as of this point, a new head coach and a new president of basketball operations, kind of, sort of, maybe, and we'll talk about why that's a maybe. But joining me today is Jazz Kang from Lakers Nation, my co-host for the Lakers Nation post-game show. There's no game, so Jazz, first of all, welcome, and second of all, I think I just missed getting to talk to you like every other day, so I had to have you come on the show here.
That's right. I was thinking that. I'm like, you know what? It's been about a week since we got to talk and connect. So I know you're feeling a little bit lonely, so I didn't mind stepping up for you and coming on today.
Well, I certainly appreciate you joining me, and yeah, I mean, look, this show, it's going to be a little bit different than the post-game show. The post-game show, we spent all of our time taking questions from fans and going back and forth on the game we just saw. This one we're going to do a little bit more predicting, and we're going to be talking about the different news items that are going on in the world of the Lakers right now, and honestly, it's a little bit surreal. I mean, even having covered this team for years and years and years, this is a little bit weird. Like, I just, every time I think that we're going to fall into normalcy, nope, we go and we find a way to just Laker it and turn it into something crazy. So I don't know, Jess, I'm almost a little bit afraid for what this summer is going to bring at this point.
Yeah, the way the last couple of weeks, well, especially the last week or so has went, it's alarming. And it's alarming if you're looking at it as a Lakers fan, if you're looking at it through a media scope. It doesn't matter really how you're looking at it, even just from a business standpoint. What's been going on here has been a total soap opera, and I don't think Jeannie Buss intended on any of this stuff happening, especially when she kind of got rid of Jim and took the reins there. But it's kind of falling apart before our eyes, and it's not something you're used to seeing with the Los Angeles Lakers.
No, you're not. Well, at least not historically. In recent years, yes, they've had their ups and downs, and probably more downs than ups. But you know what, I've been on a number of different radio shows recently. Since the Magic thing broke, there have been people looking for people who can come on their shows and talk Lakers. So I've been on, I don't know, a dozen different shows over the last week or so. And all of them from different parts of the country are all just in disbelief over what's going on with the Lakers. I mean, the NBA playoffs are raging, and I've got like ESPN in Texas calling to talk Lakers, because even though the playoffs are going on, the Lakers' dysfunction is this big of a story across the NBA. It's crazy.
Yeah, they've kind of almost hijacked a lot of the early storylines from the playoffs, and you have to, because it's the Lakers. You know, this happens in Memphis, which it kind of did in the whole weird restructuring that they had with their front office. No one cares, but it's the Lakers, and so you know what? The entire NBA world, the entire sporting world, wants to see what ends up kind of what ends up being the fallout from the Magic Johnson drama and LeBron's first season.
I'll tell you what, Jazz, I was thinking earlier today when I knew we were going to be discussing these things and looking at the current state of the Lakers, and I was trying to come up with a perfect analogy to what's going on here. And I should have asked you about this ahead of time. Do you, as I recall, it's a no, but do you follow like superhero movies at all?
No, I'm not a big Avengers Marvel guy. I haven't been for a while.
Okay, all right, fair enough. I am, so I'm going to go ahead and throw this analogy out there anyway, right? Because I know I I think some of my listeners will get this with me. So there's a scene in Deadpool 2. Okay, in Deadpool 2, he's gathered X Factor, all these different other heroes that are going to come and help him out. And he makes this huge misjudgment in the wind when they are parachuting out of a plane, and one by one, each of these new heroes that he's recruited just meets this gruesome death. And I just feel like right now, that's the Lakers. Deadpool was just forced to just sit and watch because his own misjudgment there's nothing he can do about it. He can't fix it, and his own misjudgment has led to the demise of everyone around him. And I fear that Genie Bus is going to wind up being Deadpool in that situation because of the way things are headed. I can't believe that we're sitting here, Magic Johnson is gone, Luke Walton is gone, and Rob Pelinka is still standing. How is this happening?
Yeah, that's a good analogy, because I will tell you, I have seen Deadpool because Ryan Reynolds in it. He's from Vancouver, which is where I'm from.
Oh, there we go. The Canadian connection.
We're big. The Canadian connection's always there. But it's funny, man. Like, I think she's kind of taking this. She's taken this role on where she's trying to be a little bit too nice. You know what I mean? And I don't think you could do that if you're owning an NBA franchise. Not to say you have to be a total prick and disrespectful and anything like that to another end, but you have to put your foot down and you have to kind of run things separate from your personal life. And I think where she's kind of, it's a very public job when you're doing that and you're running a team. You have a lot of people questioning you. A lot of people, want to see you fail. Some people want to see you succeed. And for her, I don't think she's been able to kind of bridge that gap of being like, all right, I have to keep my personal life here, and whatever, some people's feelings are going to get hurt. But I think that's really been the issue with her since she took over, because she had a bit of a hard time even getting rid of Jim when he was screwing things up too.
Yeah. But I mean, look, that you had the built-in excuse there. He's her brother, right? So it's different when it's family. But now, look, if things go south here, there's no buffer. This is all on Jeannie at this point. And I'm not saying that things are going to go south, because they might not. It might be that the wind changes and X Factor survives and everything works out just fine, and the Lakers wind up okay because they've got LeBron James, they've got a ton of cap space, right? They play in Los Angeles, those things matter. The Lakers could come out of this okay, but the decision-making process right now is what really worries me. And you're right, when you look at this, Jeannie so far has had this reaction where whenever things go bad, they circle the wagons. And they fall back on just Lakers people, and they're running out of Lakers people. There's only so many Laker legends that you can call upon to help fix things. Magic Johnson's gone. Kobe's not going to get involved in something like this. You've got Kobe's agent and Kurt Rambis, God bless him and his goggles. He's helping run things as well. Linda Rambis, his wife, is Jeannie's confidant and best friend, and that's your brain trust. That's what's running this organization right now. Why not open it up? Why not? Look, hey, maybe Rob Pelinka winds up being the guy, right? Maybe this was all the bad moves, trading Ivica Zubac and letting Julius Randle walk and all of that, signing Rondo instead of Randle, all those things. Maybe that was all magic. Okay, maybe it was magic. Rob Pelinka is a level-headed guy. He's a genius. All the other teams, what they're saying about him is just because they want to mess with the Lakers, and Rob's going to lead them back to the promised land. Great, maybe you think that, but why not? Why are they not taking this opportunity to go look elsewhere? Why not go canvass the league and find out, hey, is there a top flight GM or top flight president, some sort of executive that you can bring in? Because in my mind, Jess, the more smart basketball people you have in a room, the better chances you are of having success. So I don't get it. Do you have any explanation? Why would they not do this?
You hit the nail on the head there, that you need to have a team of people now. And that just seems the way, not just the NBA, but I mean, even in society in general, right? People are looking more at things like we're doing this together and we're going to have a bunch of different people input, because that's how you learn. You study, you read, you pick up on things, you watch video, and you get ideas from others. And that's how you start kind of building a winning franchise. You see that with the Warriors. They have a big group of people. I mean, ultimately, Bob Myers, Joe Lacob, the owner, make the decisions, but they get a lot of input from different people, and you haven't seen that with the Lakers. And you're right. I mean, when this whole thing first started, I was like, don't tell me they're going to go sit there and hire Kurt Rambis and bring in Byron Scott and say, hey, like this is how we're going to make it keep everything in house with the Lakers. She's given the keys to the Mercedes to Rob Pelinka now, and so he better have said something, or he better have some ideas on how to be forward thinking in order to not only build a team on the court, a roster, but build the entire organization. And they have to do that from scratch, because what they've done over the last 6-7 years has been, as the results have shown, has been pretty damn brutal.
Well, yeah, and look, Rob Pelinka's only been around for a few seasons now, and so he hasn't been a part of that entire, portion of struggles that they've had. But still, it baffles my mind that they're not casting a wide net and looking to see what's out there. This is the Lakers. This is Los Angeles. If you come in as an executive now and you can fix this, and let's face it, right, there's a lot of upside there. Right, you talk about setting expectations low and then overachieving, right? What is it? What's the saying? And you promise, you under-promise and over-deliver. Under-promise and over-deliver, right? So that the Lakers, to me, if I'm an executive, I'm looking at the Lakers going, yeah, look, it's a mess. But if you go in there and you can kind of clean it up a little bit, you get that team to the playoffs, you get them maybe back to contender status, and that's not hard because you've got LeBron James, decent chance that you can do that. I mean, look, you become a legend. So there's some real possibility there. So to me, they should go around and find out, hey, look, does R.C. Buford, is he getting tired of San Antonio? Maybe he'd want to come over. Daryl Morey, maybe we can convince him to leave Houston. Look, they're probably going to say no, but why not? Why not go and find out rather than just say, oh, Rob's got it covered. I don't know that he does. Can we just can we believe that? Maybe he will. I hope he does. I hope he does find success, but man, why not take this opportunity to go find out?
Oh, you got to remember, Rob Pelinka's the guy who bought up Julian Edelman when they made trades for Reggie Bullock and Mike Muscala, and he has his own way of thinking. I know he's just trying to sell the dudes, but I mean, from what he's shown and how he's carried himself, and from if you read the reports and you read some of the articles. Some people in the NBA don't particularly care for him. Now, they're unnamed sources, but they say that he's difficult to work with. So, based off the evidence, I think it would have been better for Jeanie once Magic stepped away and she knew they were going to end up getting rid of Luke. It was time to kind of clean house and start from scratch and build up the front office. So I agree with you. I think they do have to. And even if you're not looking for somebody who's already been in the league, an established guy like you mentioned, like R.C. Buford or Daryl Morey of the Rockets, you can also look at, go to an assistant GM or find an assistant coach who might be a little bit under the radar, who has some great ideas on how to fill this roster and build a team. So you're right. They have to go a little bit deeper than the traditional, they got ties to the Lakers, so they're the automatic front runners. That hasn't worked, especially obviously over the last, 6-7 years. So what's the different definition of insanity, right? They say it's doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So it's time for Jeanie and company to change things up.
For sure. They are pretty much doing the same thing over and over again. And it to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense. From within, it does, but they've got all these voices around the Lakers that are. It's like all the people that were screaming, "Oh my gosh, why did you not go sign shooters this last summer?" And to them, they're kind of insulated and no, this is going to be fine. Everything's going to work out. Look, if you can go get, hey, Rob may be great, right? But if you can go get, say, a Daryl Morey, doesn't that help you? Doesn't that help you when it comes to free agent pitches? Even if Rob's great. Right, even if you think Rob is completely he's completely underrated and he's a guy that can fully lead a team, is that going to be the perception in July when you're sitting down with free agents that Magic Johnson was supposed to be the one selling? Now it's going to be Rob Pelinka. He may do a great job selling, but he just doesn't carry the same kind of gravity with him that say a Daryl Morey would, or somebody along those lines, Bob Myers or whoever. So I certainly think the Lakers should have been looking around here. But I think to another point, one of the issues that you've got here is that they still could bring in a president of basketball operations. But we talked about this a little bit off the air before we came on. They're doing everything backwards right now if they're going to do something like that. They're looking for a coach at this moment, when if you're going to bring in a president of basketball operations, not only are they going to want to hire their own coach, they're also probably going to want to hire their own general manager. So if you're becoming set on having Rob Pelinka, you can't really go and hire anybody else because they're probably not going to be that willing to take the job if they know that they can't pick their own GM.
No, it's like doing what the Raiders did with John Gruden, bringing in Mike Mayock as the GM in the NFL. we know that Mike Mayock's not the GM. He might have input in terms of scouting, but he's GM by title, but not by his official role. And I think that's what's happening here is Pelinka's kind of going to be the head guy, and he's going to be the one making the ultimate decisions. He's basically just going to have somebody next to him who might be a sounding board, but he's not going to really have much input. He or she is not going to have much input into what the Lakers ultimately end up deciding. And this is where I like you're saying, I think Genie's got this completely messed up. Like you're right. You're talking about free agent pitches. First off, let's be honest. When it comes to being in public, Rob Pelinka has the personality of a tomato compared to Magic Johnson, right? I mean,
what do you mean? He's got parables to fall back on.
Right? Yeah, I mean, it just speaks in cliches and hyperboles. It's nobody really understands what he's saying at the time. So I can only imagine what being a free agent listening to him means too. But you look at somebody like Daryl Morey and you look at the recent history of it. Okay, let's take LeBron out of the equation because LeBron didn't come here for. And this I will stand by. This is my opinion. He didn't come here for basketball reasons. The Lakers and LeBron were going to be a fit. He wasn't going to the Clippers. He was coming to LA. He wanted to be here to end off his career. We've seen how dedicated he is to his off-court projects. So I'm not going to give Magic too much credit. I'll give him credit for landing LeBron, but in terms of recruiting him, I don't think it was that difficult. But when you look at, and this was before, but you had guys like LaMarcus Aldridge, you had Paul George, didn't even want to give the Lakers a meeting. You're right. If it doesn't move the needle, if you get Daryl Morey running your franchise, those guys probably do give you a meeting in that sense. And that's where I think Genie's being a little short-sighted, is leaving Pelinka as is.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? Look, like I said, this could all work out. It's not a 0% chance that this works. You could say, hey, Rob, Magic is gone. You go ahead and take on that role. You're the guy now, right? When reality is it's going to be on Genie if this flops. But hey, Rob, you be the guy. We're good. It's going to be you and Linda and Kurt Rambis and everything will be great. And you're going to go land a top flight free agent. Kawhi Leonard is going to say, hey, now that Rob Pelinka's here, I want to sign on with that. And the Lakers are going to be contending. Look, that's not likely, but it could happen. Okay, so this could, I don't want to sound super negative. This could still work, right? I mean, the Lakers could still make some shrewd moves. Maybe Rob Pelinka is able to pull some things off using some of his agent skills, and he could turn this thing right around, and the Lakers are ready to rock and roll next season. That's not an impossibility, but it just seems like the process doesn't make a lot of sense. It's more of the same, more of what we've been seeing and what hasn't been working, and that's this whole circle the wagons mentality, search for just Lakers people and sort of insulate yourself with them because they know what it's like to be a Laker, and you can't look outside of that. I think they really do need to look outside of that. And speaking of which, we're going to get into the coaching search in just a moment here, but first I got to pause for 1 second because we have to talk about Robinhood. Robinhood is an investing app that lets you buy and sell stocks, ETFs, options, and cryptos all commission-free. While other brokerages charge up to $10 for every trade, Robinhood doesn't charge any commission fees, so you can trade stocks and keep all of your profits. Plus, there's no account minimum deposit needed to get started, so you can start investing at any level. The simple, intuitive design of Robinhood makes investing easy for newcomers and experts alike. View easy-to-understand charts and market data, and place a trade in just 4 taps on your smartphone. You can also view stock collections, such as the 100 most popular. With Robinhood, you can learn how to invest in the market as you build your portfolio, discover new stocks, track your favorite companies, and get custom notifications for price movements so you never miss the right moment to invest. Robinhood is giving listeners of Lakers Nation a free stock like Apple, Ford, or Sprint to help build your portfolio. All you have to do is sign up at lakers.robinhood.com. All right, Jazz, so let's talk a little bit about the coaching search and everything that's going on with it. At the moment, the Lakers are rumored to be interested in 3 particular coaches, and those guys are Ty Lue, we've got Monty Williams, and Juwan Howard. What's your take on those 3 guys? I've got my own thoughts on them, but what do you think that those are the names that are currently populating the list of potential successors to Luke Walton?
You know what? I'm not saying this because of any scientific base thing. This is just how I feel and my opinion on it. Out of those 3, I would go with Juwan Howard.
Really?
And I'm going to say, yeah, and I'm going to say why.
Okay.
I'm going to say why. Okay, number one, I think and we talked about needing a different, fresh approach. All 3 of these guys, Monty Williams to a lesser degree, are going to be people that they're picking to appease LeBron James, right?
Okay.
And this is what we've seen out of the Lakers. They're going to be very short-sighted. They're going to look at the next 3 years, possibly two, because if LeBron decides not to opt in for his fourth season, then it could be 2 more years. They're going to look at this and say, well, for 2 more years, how do we keep LeBron James happy, even though he's turning 35, and our second, third, and fourth best players are all under the age of 25. So look for somebody who is going to have some development, able to instill a system and an offense and do things right. I don't think that Ty Lue moves the needle much for me. I don't think he's an upgrade over Luke Walton. I think if you give Luke Walton Ty Lue the same roster and the same circumstances they had this year on the Lakers that Luke had, I still think they missed the playoffs. Monty Williams, again, same thing. Not very innovative during his time in New Orleans. He did have Anthony Davis there. Didn't really do too much damage. So to me, if you're going to go outside the box and you think Juwan Howard he's been around the league for a long time in a coaching role. He's been with Miami, I think, for the better part of 7, 8, 9, 10 years now almost, right? He was a player coach, I think, back in 2012. So, I mean, he's kind of been in that role. So to me, that's just something different and outside the box and innovative. Who would you be leaning toward?
I tend to, and here's my thought here. Now, Juwan Howard, I don't have a problem with him as a person or as a coach. I've heard good things about him, but I just think that if you're going to bring somebody in, if you're going to get rid of Luke, okay, and you're going to send him elsewhere, he goes and signs with the Sacramento Kings, and we'll talk more about that in a minute, but you get rid of Luke, who doesn't have a ton of experience. I don't think you go and grab a first-time head coach. Now, look, maybe he wows them. Maybe Juwan Howard is clearly the guy that wows them in the interview process, and they wind up going with him. But I don't see it. I think that you've got to go with somebody that has been there before, that has experience as an NBA head coach. Now, Monty Williams has an overall record of 173 wins and 221 losses as an NBA head coach. Obviously, a losing record, but of course he was in New Orleans, or he's with the Pelicans. And Ty Lue has an overall record of 128 wins and 83 losses, and he has an NBA championship to his name, but he was coaching LeBron James. And he was the assistant coach on that Cleveland team, right? We can admit that LeBron is coaching it. Well, that's the fear. So that's the fear, and I've seen that quite a bit from fans of other teams saying it doesn't matter who the Lakers pick because LeBron is really the coach. We know who's really going to be the one calling the plays. Ty Lue, though, had a reputation for kind of standing up to LeBron and calling him out, but at the same time, it negatively impacted his health. Like, he was having real health issues. Now he says, hey, I'm healthy now. My diet is better. I've dropped a bunch of weight. I'm good to go. I'm a little bit scared. I think that Ty Lue would be the guy, but this worries me a little bit that if you throw him in to, not in Cleveland, but you're dealing with LeBron in Los Angeles in a Lakers jersey, like that's a whole nother level of pressure and stress that you're putting on Ty Lue. And that scares me a little bit.
Yeah, and it should. I mean, you're right. This is the spotlight is a whole lot brighter when you're coaching the Los Angeles Lakers, and the pressure is 100 times more than it was in Cleveland. And when you're looking at what Ty Lue did, yeah, they won a championship. Yeah, he made the finals a few times with them. But like we said, they had the best team in the East by a country mile. There was no competition in those years. I don't think anybody legitimately was going to beat a LeBron James-led team. Pending LeBron was healthy in the playoffs, and now you're looking at what Ty Lue did as a coach. He didn't bring in anything, an offensive game changer where it's like, wow, this guy knows his stuff on the offensive end, or his defensive game plan was suffocating. He came up with new and innovative. To me, he's not worth the. It's almost like you're getting the same thing over and over again. It's stale to me, and when you look at the, as soon as LeBron was gone, Cleveland we knew wasn't going to be good this year. But the franchise saw something in this that this guy's not worth keeping around. Let him go, right? Yeah. You didn't see that with Spoelstra in Miami. He won a couple titles, and they were like, you know what? Yeah, LeBron and Bosch are leaving, and I think Dwayne Wade left that year too to Chicago the first time. Might have stuck around for one more, but. They kept him around, and you look at, even with Rick Carlisle and Dirk, I mean, that's a different story because Dirk's been around that long, but I mean, they didn't give up on him just because the team went a little bit south. And I think that shows a lot about Ty Lue as well. Is like, I don't think he really moves the needle.
Yeah, see, here's my thing. When I look at these three names, there's and it's very likely that the list is bigger than this. These are just the three words we've heard right now. I mean, Jason Kidd, we've heard he's not really in it. Mark Jackson, but these are names that have been around. Jason Kidd, we know that he would leap at the opportunity to go coach for the Lakers. Probably not leap very high if you watch Jason Kidd's last season playing. He didn't have the hops anymore, but
still higher than us, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely, still way higher. Just by NBA standard, by normal person standard, no, he would jump way higher than us. But you look at these names, and I don't look at them and go, oh yeah, that's clearly an upgrade over Luke Walton. Let's go get that guy. I don't feel that way about it. And it's possible that they are. It's possible that these guys are upgrades. Monty Williams, of course, has the background with Team USA. So if you're looking at it through the lens of free agency and you think, gosh, who's going to want to come play with these guys? Who's going to want to come play for this coach? Maybe Monty Williams, because he's got that relationship. He's known as a guy that players really, really like, and he's got all that connection with star players already through Team USA. Maybe that's something that you look at. Juwan Howard, as a former player, has got that. And Ty Lue, of course, is a former player as well, and former Lakers. So I guess you can kind of say he falls within the Lakers tree as well, which does give him definitely a leg up here. But still, I can't definitively say these guys are an upgrade over Luke. They're not. It's not Greg Popovich that they're interviewing. It's not Rick Carlisle. It's not Eric Spoelstra. It's not any of these top flight coaches. It's Ty Lue, Juwan Howard, and Monty. I'm a little bit underwhelmed, I guess, is what I'm saying, Jess.
Yeah, you're right. There has, but this is where I think coaching comes in. There's no commodity out there right now like a Phil Jackson. If you remember back in going into that, I believe 2013 season when they had Dwight, and that was a nightmare season too. But after they got rid of Mike Brown, it was like let's go get Phil.
Right.
And he was out there and he had a name. There's really no names like that are out there right now that you look at and say, ooh, okay, that's somebody the Lakers got to go get. But if you also look back in history, and I'm not saying the Lakers are set up like the Warriors because they're not, but if you look back at it, Steve Kerr was a guy who, he had some general manager experience in running the team in Phoenix, what he was doing, but he'd never really been an NBA coach. So sometimes the right candidate isn't going to be the obvious one. So I agree with you. Cast a wide net. It might not be a huge name out there that's like they got to go get this guy. And I think that's why some people are falling in love with the Jason Kidd, Mark Jackson, just because they're names. Mm-hmm. But I think you also have to look at, okay, who's going to bring the right idea, the right mix of developing the young guys, because they're not a team of veterans right now that just need to, kind of be tweaked to take the next step to win a championship. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. And I think they have to look at someone who's going to be able to not do the things just short term, but long term.
Were you on board with getting rid of Luke?
No, not because
Okay.
they didn't have anybody better. Like you said, they didn't have anybody better out there that was going to be like an option that stuck out. Like, boom, you got to go get that guy. And I don't think anybody would have done a good job dealing with the circumstances and especially the roster that Luke had.
Here's what I think, and this is me speculating, by the way. This isn't something I've heard. I've talked to a few people trying to get some info, but that's hard to come by right now. But what I think may have gone down. So I think once Magic left, the plan was going to be to keep Luke. But Luke, being on the last guaranteed year of his deal, was going to ask for an extension. Because why wouldn't you, right? If you just found out the team was going to get rid of you, and now they're going to ask you to stick around, but you're going to be a lame duck because you're in the final year of your deal, and you already took all this crap from them all season, and Magic was planning on getting rid of you all along, and now he's gone, and you've been dealing with this whole mess. I'd imagine he was probably thinking about, hey, if I'm going to stick around here, which we know the Lakers and Luke's representatives talked, he was going to ask for some sort of a guarantee, some sort of an extension that he was going to be there, that he wasn't going to just get bounced to the curb. And he probably already knew about the Kings deal. Probably already knew the Kings. And I know, look, if this was the Lakers, everyone would be crying tampering. But the Kings, I'm sure, found a way to make it known to Luke Walton that, hey, if you are no longer the Lakers coach, there's going to be a deal here for you, because it took, 24 hours, if that, for Luke to sign on the dotted line and be the new coach of the Sacramento Kings. So Luke knew, hey, I've got this other opportunity. These young players up north, they're this up and coming team, his kind of team that he'd want to coach, and so I have this feeling that he went into it wanting something very specific. The Lakers weren't willing to budge, and he just said, fine, look, let me go then, because I've got another job offer up here in Sacramento. I'm tired of dealing with this mess. Let me go. And the Lakers probably said, okay. I think that's probably fairly close to how things actually went down with Luke Walton. And now the Lakers find themselves looking for a new head coach.
Yeah, and it was weird because when it first came out, the reports that it wasn't that Luke Walton had gotten fired. It was that they're mutually parting ways, right?
Is it ever mutual?
No, but in this case, I think they could have. You're right. And like I said, I haven't heard anything concrete like that. Nobody's told me that, but I mean, I agree with you. I think that very well could have been the case, that he walked in there and said, all right, if I understand Magic's gone, but if I'm going to be here, I want some assurances. I'm going to be here more than just next season. If not, I have another opportunity. And they were like, all right, we can't give you that, and it's time for you to go. And he made the right choice if that is the case, because I do think he's going to thrive in Sacramento. I think that roster is built in a way that is fun, plays the game up and down the court. They got shooters. They got young guys who want to learn. And you don't have somebody on there like a LeBron James, who is such a proven commodity that he's almost going to undercut Luke at times, which we saw with LeBron's, maybe not overtly, but his, in terms of his wording, but he was very animated and kind of a baby at points this season when things weren't going right, whether he was reacting to his teammates or to how things were going on the court. So I think it's a good move for Luke overall. I think he's going to do really well in Sacramento. And who knows, maybe the Lakers did need to turn the page and said, all right, you know what, you got a better opportunity, man. Go out there and get it, because we ain't going to offer you that here. Yeah,
and you know what? Look, I think that Luke will be successful up there in Sacramento. I think that there's some problems with the way the Lakers went about it and everything with Luke Walton. It's unfortunate, really, because look, he was brought in to be the coach that was going to teach the young guys how to play. He was going to grow with them. They were going to go through Luke's growing pains as a coach, just as Brandon Ingram and all these other young players were going to go through their growing pains. Luke wasn't focused on wins and losses. He was more focused on development, and if you win, great. And then you get LeBron and everything changes. And suddenly his entire job is completely different this season, where he has to win and win now and win at all costs and screw development and just the players that are on the floor have to be able to win. That's a big shift for him to deal with, and maybe a little bit unfair for him. So I hope that he does find success up there in Sacramento. And I also hope that the Lakers I hope that whenever he plays the Lakers, he loses. But I hope that he finds success up there. I think that's the best I can say here. Jazz, we need to talk about free agency a little bit. And first, let me talk real quick about Bet Online. The second season is underway, and of course, that's the NBA playoffs. And right now, you have teams like the Golden State Warriors tearing apart the Los Angeles Clippers. You've got all kinds of great battles going on. Is your confidence high in your ability to pick winners? Are you willing to place a wager? Don't know where to start? There's only one place to get in on all the action. Grab the odds and allow the experts at betonline.ag to do the heavy lifting for you. Sports, live betting, virtual casino, you name it, betonline.ag is CLNS Media's preferred sportsbook online. If you're feeling lucky and would like to support our podcast, go to clnsmedia.com/LeBron and use promo code CLNS50 for that 50% sign-up bonus. Again, that's clnsmedia.com/LeBron, and the promo code is CLNS50 for a 50% sign-up bonus. BetOnline.ag, your online sportsbook experts. So, Jess, we've been talking all about the coaching search. We've been talking about the front office and turmoil and all that kind of stuff. But the big question is, how is this going to be a factor during free agency? Because the Lakers have just a few months now to completely pull a 180 and go from what looks right now like a very dysfunctional franchise to looking once again like a franchise that is on the rise and a team that free agents would like to go and play for. Do you think they can do it? Can they turn this thing around by July 1st?
No. No, they can't.
Okay.
You're gonna get somebody who wants to come here again, who I think is already sold on being a Laker. The money's obviously going to be a factor, but the Lakers have enough that they can sign a max guy. So you know what? I don't think that they're going to be in a position of wow, somebody has to take less to come here to pursue a championship, or you don't have that variable going on this time. I don't. There's just a lack of stability in the front office, and that's gotten around the entire NBA, right? It's a worse. It's not like it's a big secret that other teams and franchises don't know that the Lakers are on a downturn right now. They're not as attractive as they are when they're winning, and then they have that kind of the aura about them that we're used to having, at least through my lifetime, that they are the it franchise of the NBA. But I think, could that change in a year or two if they make the right decisions and hire the right people? Yes. I just don't think that's something that can happen in the next couple of months here.
Yeah, I'm definitely skeptical at this point. And by the way, I want to say I just threw into that last promo for Bet Online that the Warriors were shredding the Clippers, and they were. And now I just looked, and it's the end of it's 3 minutes left, and the Warriors are only up 4 now, and the Clippers are on this huge comeback. Oh, don't prove me wrong, Clippers. Come on. So anyway, but I agree with you that yes, this is it's going to be a tough task. Right? If they do get somebody great, if they get Kawhi, great. It's because he probably was already planning on doing this. I just hope that they are able to make some smart decisions this summer, because they're really going to need to. And look, the free agent pool, it's deeper than it is in some years. Like, look, last year it was LeBron and Paul George, and that's it. That was pretty. If you're going to spend max dollars, it's going to be on one of those two guys. After that, you're probably not going to max anybody. Okay, this summer is different. You've got KD, you've got Kawhi, you've got Klay Thompson, you've got Jimmy Butler, Kemba Walker, all these different players, but that pool can get whittled down pretty quickly. And I say that knowing that tonight, DeMarcus Cousins just got hurt. And this is DeMarcus Cousins coming off of an Achilles injury. Look, it's not confirmed right now. When it first happened, I'm in the middle of moving right now, by the way, to all my listeners out there. So I'm standing there signing documents on my counter, and the game's on the TV, and as soon as it happens, I stop my wife from signing, and she's like, "What?" Thinking that something's wrong in the financial documents that we're signing here to sell our house and buy another one. And she goes, "What?" I go, "I think he just tore his quad." And she looks and she's like, "Oh." And just the way he planted, because my wife has a background in athletic training, she went, "Oh, yeah." Whenever I've seen somebody plant the way he did, it's a torn quad. Now, I don't know for sure. Look, we're going to be waiting for the MRI. But look, if he tore his quad after coming off of an Achilles injury, DeMarcus Cousins may kind of be off the board here as one of the top free agents out there. So as that list starts getting smaller, I start to wonder what happens if the Lakers really don't get anybody. Then where do they go from there?
I don't think first off, hopefully Boogie Cousins' injury isn't serious. I saw that. So, yeah. I kind of thought the same thing too. I thought, it doesn't look good. And the way he went down, it was kind of almost like a non-contact injury. And so hopefully it's okay. Of course, I did say as a joke that, of course the Lakers are probably going to give him a max now, but hopefully that he's not seriously injured. And either way, if he is healthy, hopefully that's not the case, that the Lakers give him a max deal. But when you're looking at this, I don't think that's a bad case, unless you're getting KD, Kawhi, Klay Thompson, Kyrie Irving, the big fish in this year's free agency class. I don't think it's necessarily bad to miss out on Jimmy Butler or Kemba Walker, because if you really do look at it, and you've seen the Warriors when they're playing at their best. If the Warriors, and that's a big if they're still intact next season, is Jimmy Butler going to move the needle towards catching them? Is Jimmy Butler going to help you win a championship? Probably not. Is Kemba Walker going to do that? Probably not. So if you do end up striking out, I still think the goal is to try. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it happens via trade or free agency of that summer. But Anthony Davis has got to be the target if you miss out on those top 4 guys.
But here's the thing: Brandon Ingram's cap hold goes up the next summer because he'll have to get paid. So he suddenly has a cap hold of like $20 million. Next thing you know, you don't have enough money for Anthony Davis to get a max. Now, yeah, there's other things they can do. Maybe they work a trade or something like that. But kicking the can down the road another year too, LeBron's not going to be pleased with that. He's going to be 35 this next season. He doesn't have that many seasons left in him. So I think they're in a little bit of a conundrum, because if they don't get somebody, they're going to have to get real creative real fast in order to figure out a way to kind of bump the team up as much as they possibly can. And I've got some concerns about exactly what that plan B will actually turn out to be. I mean, it's going to be one of the big storylines of this summer is if they don't get anybody, what do they do from there? How do they pivot? Do they have another plan? I think they can get somebody, but as you said, I don't know if that piece really puts them over the top. I like Jimmy Butler a lot. I think he'd be a good fit. Kemba Walker, same thing. But I don't know if that piece is going to really put them over the top, and it's going to be on whoever is steering the ship to figure it out, even if they can't get a KD or a Kawhi.
Yeah, and that's where the short term versus long term thing goes on, right? Trevor is like, okay, yeah, if you try and sign Kemba or Jimmy Butler, who are both very, very good basketball players, are either of them great? I wouldn't say that. I think they're all perennial all-stars. They're very good basketball players. But like I said, you're not winning it. And so if you're doing that just to just to appease LeBron, which it seems like they're doing with the coaching search so far, but if you're doing that just to appease LeBron, you're not going to win a championship anyways. What, you're going to win 47 games next year, 50 games, and then probably lose in the second round or conference finals. All things being equal, that the Warriors are still the same team now that they are, or then that they are now. And to me, that just doesn't make any sense. Like you have to bring in somebody who's going to have a long-term vision in terms of running the franchise, because you still have a 21-year-old Lonzo Ball. You still have a 21-year-old Brandon Ingram that if, Ingram is everything works out okay with the blood clot stuff and that's not an ongoing issue, you have two guys who can develop it into being, frontline players themselves. And you have to look at the long-term goal of that too. So that's where I think mixing the future with mixing the current with the future has to be the number one thing they're looking for in bringing somebody in to run the franchise.
Here's the thing, Jazz. The Lakers they've put all their eggs in the basket of this summer of 2019 free agency. That was what they did last summer. That was why they signed all these guys to just 1-year deals, is because they expected to go get somebody this summer. If you don't go land somebody now, and we're talking about how you should have some pieces that can build for the future and at the same time can help you out in the present and do those things, and have a general manager that has that kind of vision. Right now, the vision isn't building for the future. The vision or the plan has been to build as much as you can this season, and then this summer you're going to cash in and you're going to get stars. Well, if you don't do that, then what was the point in letting Ivica Zubac go, thinking that you can't pay him as a restricted free agent? What was the point in letting Julius Randle go and letting these other young pieces go and slip away? It all kind of becomes for naught if they don't land somebody. So look, whoever is steering the ship, the pressure is going to be immense because everything is on this summer. I know you say you can wait until 2020, but I just don't know that they can. Maybe they have to. They might get put in a situation where they have to wait till 2020. There's no other option, but that's certainly, I don't think that's an option to the Lakers right now.
Well, this is where you have to, like you mentioned. I mean, why did they let go of Zubac? Why did they make the decision to let go of a guy like Julius Randle? You have to start fresh right now. You are where you are, right? And this is where I think the new leader, the new president, whoever, if it is Pelinka or not, he is going to have the benefit of the doubt of the fact that Magic Johnson left the team. So now it's kind of became his, right? Before it was always Magic. Magic's running the show. Magic's calling the shots. Now it's like, okay, somebody else is in there. You're going to have to give him a pass for decisions that were made before kind of he took over, whoever that leader might be, if it is Pelinka or not. And I think that's where you have to look at it. That was Magic's vision. Well, you know what I mean? And that's kind of the public. The stigma of it is going to be, no, that was when Magic was there. Maybe they've pivoted and kind of changed outlooks into what they want to do to make this thing work. And that, to me, is something that is going to be vital for Genie to make the right hire in that sense. Now, if Rob Pelinka is going in with the same thing, and the rumors are right now, you're not hearing anything about the big fish wanting to come to the Lakers.
Nope.
If anything, the biggest thing that we've heard, other than KD and Kyrie going to the Knicks, is that Kawhi Leonard, if he leaves Toronto, is going to go to the Clippers. And other than that, you're not really hearing too much. Klay Thompson looks like he's staying put up north there with the Warriors. So, I don't think you can mortgage the future of the team just to appease a 35-year-old guy next season who got hurt already this year. And as we know, Father Time's undefeated has been, for eternity. So I think that's where you have to look at it, is build this team the right way. Don't try and find an easy fix. If you get the right pieces, Then you could bring in somebody to put you over the top. You look for it then. But right now, this seems too far away to compete for a championship to think that one or two moves is going to fix it.
Josh, if they don't get anybody, do you think the Lakers would then have to start listening to offers if teams were calling about LeBron James?
If they don't get anybody this summer?
Yeah, I'm saying they get nobody. I'm saying Jimmy Butler stays in Philly, Tobias Harris stays in Philly. Oh my gosh, the Clippers just took the lead over the Warriors.
Yeah, I saw
Oh man. Okay.
Clippers are winning a game in the playoffs with Lou Williams as their best player. A Lakers cast off, and the Lakers who have LeBron James are watching this game on TV right now. That's crazy.
Yeah, this is a little bit bonkers. Yep. Yeah, that's happening. Danilo Gallinari has 24 points, and Lou Williams has 36 and 11 assists. And former Laker Lou Williams. Oh, this has been a good night. So, but yeah, I'm saying if they don't, so let's say that all the different stars, even the quasi stars, let's say Kemba Walker stays in Charlotte, Nikola Vucevic stays in Orlando. They all go somewhere else other than the Lakers, which means they've got no chance of really contending, and probably are more of a long shot at even making the playoffs unless you get full health from BI and full health from Kuzma and Lonzo and all those players, right? So they don't get anybody. If you're the Lakers, do you need to start listening, or at least considering, knowing that you're probably going to be wasting yet another year of LeBron's final few seasons?
I wouldn't listen to it this or next season. I would listen to it if you strike out on AD. I think if you got AD still in his prime at that age, he'd be coming in at 26 going on 27, maybe 20. I don't know when his birthday is exactly, but you would have him still growing and developing and going to be a frontline player for at least another 4, 5, 6 years after that. And then you've got 2 years of LeBron pending LeBron opts in for his final one. So, I mean, in that case, I don't think you're in too bad of a spot. But right now, I think it's too early, and you don't know. I mean, you know what? If guys like Ingram, who was showing so much promise, right? So much promise before his injury, if he can play at that level for a long, extended period next season, if Lonzo Ball comes in, he has a full off season to train and get into shape and get ready for the 82 game grind that is the NBA season, they're not going to be in bad shape. And I just don't think bringing in a guy like Jimmy Butler or Kemba Walker at that point is going to make them any better. And if they strike out on them, I don't think it's going to be that bad missing out on a guy who's really going to be probably your number 2 or 2A guy, depending on Ingram's health.
See, I'd probably take Jimmy Butler. I'd be okay with him. I mean, the attitude is maybe something that you have to deal with. I like the second tier guys. I think that there's some upside there. I think that there's some interesting pieces. The one name that we haven't talked about is Kyrie. I think it'd be interesting to bring him, especially if you bring back Ty Lue. Then you just you're putting the band back together. Maybe people say, hey, the Lakers are just being the Cavs all over again. But I wouldn't hold off on signing. Like if Jimmy Butler said, hey, give me the max and I'll sign, and they can't get anybody else, I mean, I kind of think they have to do it, right? I mean, if you have the opportunity to sign him, don't you like, if you just say, no, sorry, Jimmy Butler, we're not going to do that, then I think you've got a whole other issue with LeBron, because he's certainly going to find out that they had an opportunity, and then you've got a whole other problem on your hands.
Yeah, you know what? That is where I think this decision is. We should just tell you, you know what? Let's take you up to Jeannie's office and say, you know what? Let's get Trevor Lane in here running the show. You know, I think at the same time you got to you have to have somebody who's going to have the right vision and look at the long term and short term health of this team. And I agree with you in that sense that, you know what, you don't want to pat, because you've seen it happen with Paul George. Where they said, oh, we'll get him when we want him. But sometimes, if you have to make the room. I just think that Butler's age and his game and his injury history, I don't think he's a guy you want to be paying $25 million to, $30 million to 2-3 seasons from now when he might be only averaging 18, 19 a game. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, understandable. I get it. I mean, hey, look, it's not ideal. The ideal situation would be get Kevin Durant, go get Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi would be my pick. He'd be my guy. That's the guy that I would bring in if I could bring in anybody. By the way, the Clippers, there's 5 seconds left. The Clippers are going to beat the Warriors. It's 135 to 131. The Clippers, the Warriors have the ball, but the 31-point comeback, biggest comeback ever. And I think I reverse jinxed it by saying that the Warriors were shredding the Clippers. Unbelievable,
What's
Jazz.
funny,
Unbelievable.
Trevor? On last week, actually, just before the season ended, I went on to StubHub, and I was like, you know what? I was like, oh, the Clippers might end up playing the Warriors in the first round. I got a pair of tickets on the lower bowl for $120, and I'm like, that's for Game 4 of this series, and I'm like, you know what? I may be able to sell those for a pretty healthy profit right now. So I'm actually happy that the Clippers won this one today.
And so you went ahead and bought those tickets?
I bought them. On the case that I'm like, well, whatever. If not, I'll get to go watch a playoff game as a fan. I haven't been to an NBA game just in a fan role. And I went once this year to a Lakers game. But before then, it'd been almost 15 years. So I was looking forward to it. I'm like, oh, hopefully they end up playing the Warriors. And now I'm wondering, should I sell these tickets or hang on to them?
Well, hey, I mean, I can tell you this: the value of those tickets probably just went up. Since it's going to be at most, it's going to be a 2-1 series in either direction. I would have to assume it'll be 2-1 Warriors, but after tonight, gosh, who knows what's going on? These playoffs have been absolutely nuts, just bonkers, crazy results.
They've been fun.
Yeah, definitely
they've been fun, man. I mean, the Magic beating the Raptors was fun. The Nets obviously pulling that off against Philly in Game 1. They got smoked today, but it's been good. It's been better first round than we usually had, where you knew 5 of the series are probably going to end up in sweeps.
Right. Yeah. The only way it would be better is if the Lakers were in it, but
the Lakers are pulling this off. That would be fun right now. This is game
yes.
2 of the
thing. We'd be having a whole different conversation. That's for sure. All right, Jess. I think that we've covered enough here. Let's wrap things up for this show. Any final thoughts, final comments, anything that you want to toss in here?
No. You know what? This is going to be for the season that Lakers fans had to deal with, and really the franchise had to go through. This offseason, obviously it's going to be one way or the other in terms of good or bad, but at least it's going to be more entertaining than what we got to see throughout the actual game time through the 82 games. So I'm looking forward to the rumors and all the movement. It's going to be fun. Yeah,
it definitely is. It's going to be fun covering it all and following it. Gosh, it would be so much fun if the Lakers were to move up in the draft too. That would just to see everybody lose their minds. That would be a good time. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed, rooting for chaos on draft lottery night. Guys, the guest joining me today was Jazz Kang. Make sure you go follow him on Twitter at JazzKang21. Jess, thanks so much as always for coming on. We're gonna have to do not a post-game show obviously because there's no games, but we'll have to do a live show as we're getting closer and closer to the draft and kind of go over this stuff. Maybe after the Lakers officially name a coach, we'll hop on and chat with all of our Facebook friends on there.
Yeah, we'll do the show for sure. And if you get lonely or anything, just give me a FaceTime call. We could do that as well if you miss me that much. If not, for a couple of weeks.
Sounds good. Get me through another few weeks until we can jump on a live show. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today. Don't forget to support our sponsors. Always appreciate it when you guys support the companies that support us. And, of course, that's Robinhood and Bet Online for this week. And, of course, as always, Vivid Seats. Make sure you guys go check them out. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to this show on iTunes. We always appreciate it when you do that. And, of course, follow Lakers Nation on social media. You can follow us on Instagram at Lakers Nation Official and on Facebook and Twitter at Lakers Nation. The Lakers Nation YouTube page has been going off lately, so make sure you go check that out. And, of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Trevor_Lane or on Instagram at Trevor Lane NBA. Till next time, guys, have a good one.